This is Job 9 and 24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, this is Job 9 and 24. You got to forgive me. I'm a little under the weather. This is Job 9:24. It says, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" And the reason why I bring this precept out is because recently the Lord blessed me with the opportunity to go over to Europe, my first international trip. And while I was over in Europe, I had a chance to visit Ireland, Scotland, and the Netherlands. And so while I was over there, I had a chance to view a lot of places that are still standing from the Dark Ages. And if you all don't know what the Dark Ages are about, that was a time period from roughly about 1,000 years where Jake was ruling with an iron fist, you know. And what I noticed when I went into these places and different types of castles, different types of lands and artifacts, the history was on point, but the imaging was off. The imaging that they used to portray the people in the Dark Ages were pictures from the Renaissance era. Okay? And you have to remember that during the Renaissance era, there was a very well organized, carefully, well calculated, meticulous plan of executing iconoclasm so that we, meaning you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, would not know who you are, and it would give them the advantage of distorting history. And while I was there was one image amongst many things, but this one in particular that I'm going to bring up is this right here. This image was in a place called, I want to say it's Christ Cathedral. And this place, I believe, was built around maybe the 10th century, somewhere around there. It's like almost 1,000 years old. And I didn't want to go in this place, but my woman, she was dead set on it. She was like, "I want to go here. I want to go here." And I was like, whatever. Okay, we'll go in. And the Lord just put the spirit on her to do it. Like the scripture says, man's going is of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? And so the Lord put the spirit on my woman to go into this church. And the lady said, "There's this big treasure downstairs that was left to the church from a very rich king." So, I mean, I was upstairs and watching the images, and, they had everything was all, for lack of a better phrase, whitewashed, clearly clear iconoclasm at its finest. But when we went downstairs to where the treasure was, I saw this. And it's two huge stone statues of two Israelite men. And you may say, well, how can you prove that? Well, Because first of all, you got to know who was ruling during that age. It was Jake. Jake was in all the churches, all the castles, all the towns. Jake ruled with an iron fist at this time. And then two, I don't know if you've noticed this already, but look at their faces. Do you notice what's missing? Their noses. Let me see if I can zoom in on this picture. Here you go. Here's this Jake with his nose broken off. Okay. And then you got the other Jake over here. I mean, his features must have really stuck out because they almost completely destroyed his face. And as we all know, when it comes to artifacts dealing with Jake, Bad Uncle Esau is always knocking the nose off the image because that's a clear indicator of who the identity of the person is. Because we all know that Bad Uncle Esau, it's not a characteristic for them to have big noses, big wide noses. People who had big wide noses who were ruling at this time were Jakes, you know? And so it just had me thinking that, what Bad Uncle Esau did was very damaging to us because it got so bad that we completely forgot this history. All right, there's another precept when you go into the Bible. It's in First Maccabees 3 and was it 43 or 47? I'm gonna go with 47. I'm gonna start at 40. I'm going to start at 46. This is First Maccabees, the 3rd chapter, the 46th verse. It says, "Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Maspah over against Jerusalem, for in Maspah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law," which is this Bible, "wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their image." So this is not the first time where Bad Uncle Esau has made an attempt through iconoclasm to eliminate the truth of history, our truth. As the scripture says, there's nothing new under the sun. And for a while, he was successful. Bad Uncle Esau was successful at this for a time. As it says in Psalm 83, it says, Psalm 83 and 4, "They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." And this is a huge part of it. Destroying statues, all right? The word skips me right now, but defacing statues, defacing paintings, destroying paintings, sculptures, vases, thing. All these things were done to how should I put this? Make the world believe that bad Uncle Esau was the one doing this and not us. But see, now we've come to a point in time in history where stuff like this is being brought out. These type of sculptures with the history and all other types of archaeology, these things are coming out, and now the whole world is starting to realize, like, hey, something's not right here. Wow, this is the truth. So you telling me that we weren't ruling then? It says, the scripture says, and I'm gonna close it out on this one. I think it's in Ezra, and the truth. I forgot it says, and the truth which is long since. Apocrypha. Second. And the truth which is long since is, how is it worded? Is it 6? Yes. Second Ezra 6 and 28. It says, you know what? I'm going to start at 27. Second Ezra 6 and 27. It says, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, that iconoclasm, and the truth, which has been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And this fruit right here, which once was denied through iconoclasm and hidden, is now coming to the forefront. People are starting to realize, like, whoa, why aren't the noses always chopped off on certain elements? Then people go back, start reading books, look at other archaeological finds, and find out that, hey, these were these so-called black people ruling during the time of Dark Ages. So that means this image of Duke Valentino don't fit this time period. And more every day, people are starting to find out things like this. And so when I had a chance to go overseas to Europe, this was just something that really stood out to me about, even though they're telling you the truth, the accurate truth about history, there's an element that's false. It's small, but it's huge at the same time. And that element is that there were not Edomites ruling during this time from, some would say 300 to 1300, 350 to 1350, maybe 1400s. Whatever the time period is, the fact still remains that it was Israelites ruling at this time, not bad Uncle Esau. So that's all I wanted to say on this. You know, just a little observation that I noticed while I was overseas. So once again, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, the great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. With that, we're going to say shalom.